A man who's an A+ at one thing will sleep with better looking women than a man who's a B- at everything. Get this through your thick skulls, ladies. Fat girls are gross. You don't want to lift weights because you're lazy. Just keep it real. You got an abortion because you didn't want to wreck your body.
What's up, guys? This is Donovan, Sharpe, and welcome to the 333rd edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. We are presented by 1821manmade.com, your one-stop shop for all of your premium quality beard grooming needs. I obviously have not used them this morning. This morning has been a little bit chaotic. That's the reason for the late start, but I'm not going to make excuses. Yours truly needs to work on time management. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, let's get right to it, guys. There are certain absolutions in life that people tend to ignore on a regular basis. And one such absolution is that there are certain rules to certain circumstances. So, for example, if you want to avoid getting fired from your job, show up to work on time, show up to work consistently, and don't hit on coworkers, right? If you ignore these rules, you, of course, run the risk of losing your job, which is your livelihood. Which is, give me 1 second here. I'm being told that my mic is a little bit soft. All right. Anyway. Fairly simple, as most people are well aware of this particular set of rules as it applies to one's employment or lack thereof. But one set of rules that men in particular continue to ignore are the rules when it comes to dealing with sluts. Now, we all know, and we're going to define the difference between, we're going to define sluts here in just a little bit, but gentlemen, we all know that sluts make bad wives. They make bad mothers. They make bad girlfriends. We all know the inherent risk that comes with messing with sluts on any level, from one-night stands all the way up to and including marriage. And of course, we'll get to that a little bit later. And again, this is red pill or blue pill. Even blue pill guys, even guys who have not been unplugged from the matrix yet, they know and understand the inherent risks that comes with messing with sluts. So, rather than characterize these as rules, per se, we're going to call them commandments so that men start to take them a little more seriously. We follow rules, but we tend to break them a lot because they're just rules. Commandments, on the other hand, are generally taken a little more seriously, if, of course, you give any credence to them. Now, the reason I'm talking about this today is that we hear a lot of horror stories, right? Listen, we hear about divorce rape. We hear about a cheating girlfriend, a cheating wife, paternity fraud, any number of things pertaining to the terrible quality and behavior of today's females. But one thing that they all have in common, one common denominator, is that the women who cause all of this anguish and trouble for men, they're all sluts. So let's go ahead and define what a slut is. A slut is pretty simple, guys. A slut is a woman who has fucked a ton of guys and is not long-term relationship material. It's as simple as that. There's nothing complicated. There's nothing psychological. Well, the slut is a woman who gives herself away to... No. A slut's a woman who's fucked a bunch of guys and is no longer wife or long-term relationship material. That's it. So now that we have our definition in place, we're going to talk about the 10 most important rules when it comes to getting what you want out of sluts without getting got yourself. And like I said, we're going to call this the 10 commandments. Sluts are very good at taking their pound of flesh before, during, and after they fuck you, right? But today I'm going to talk about not only how to avoid this, but how to maybe even flip the script and wreak some havoc of your own. Take your pound of flesh, so to speak. My opening rant is brought to you by Happy Hippo Herbal, some of the highest quality kratom on the planet. Happy Hippo Kratom will give you an energy boost, laser focus, and increase your productivity, all without caffeine. I beat caffeine using Happy Hippo Kratom. I used to have a big time caffeine addiction, and now I do not, thanks to Happy Hippo Herbals. Go to happyhippoherbals.com now and save 20% when you pay with Bitcoin. That includes your shipping. It is Thursday, September 20th, 2018, and just got some news across the wire yesterday that John Jones is going to be reinstated to MMA. It looks like as of October 28th, which is in just over a month, Jon Jones is going to be eligible to fight again. I don't really know the details. I'm going to have to read up on it. I just heard about it last night. Again, it's been a chaotic morning. My time management skills have not been good. I had a lot to do yesterday, and unfortunately for me, I did not manage my time very well, which is why I'm a half an hour late on the air this morning, and I do apologize for that. I try to be on time for you guys every day. I try to give you guys a quality show, and I feel like I owe it to you guys to be on time every day. This is just a requirement that I have for myself and for my audience. So my apologies. I will do my level best to make sure that we get this thing started on time every time. There are big time sweeping changes at ESPN. And these changes have actually been happening right under our noses for quite a while, but we haven't really noticed it because I guess for whatever reason they're dropping the news on Friday, right? Of course, anytime a company or an organization wants to make a big announcement that affects a lot of people, they tend to drop that news on Friday so that they can really avoid the public eye until, of course, Monday. And by then, we're talking about something else. Well, we all know that ESPN is a social justice warrior machine. No doubt about that. We all know that they are fully in the feminist camp. Listen, you watch everything, dude, everything about their commercials to their programming, the women all over TV, you name it, ESPN is in bed with the feminist imperative. Well, John Skipper, who used to be the president at ESPN, he has been replaced by a man. He's been replaced with a man by the name of Jimmy Pitaro. Jimmy Pitaro, his edict, his objective at this point is clear. Jimmy Pitaro's objective for ESPN is to get back to sports and to get out of the business of politics, social justice warrioring, politics, religion, gender, the gender talk, all that SJW stuff. Right under our noses, these sweeping changes have been, listen, they've been felt immediately. I'm going to give you a few examples. Jemele Hill was recently bought out of her contract, which is code for fire. Jemele Hill got her ass fired. Jemele Hill, of course, drew ire and criticism and attention from the ESPN viewership when she called Donald Trump a white supremacist. She didn't call him a white supremacist. Her tweet, I think, explicitly stated that Donald Trump is in the White House as a result of white supremacy. So to say that Jemele Hill called Donald Trump a white supremacist, it's probably not factually accurate. But if you were to ask her in an honest moment, do you think Donald Trump is a white supremacist? She'd probably tell you yes. So I don't give a shit about what's fair or not fair. Jemele Hill is off the air. Her and Michael Smith used to be on the 6th. And by the way, Michael Smith is nowhere to be found either. His dumbass ran in behind her. He decided to white knight for her. And now his ass is off the air. I heard him on a podcast with Bomani Jones. We're going to get to him in a minute. I heard him on a podcast with Bomani Jones, and I was like, wait a minute, is that Michael Smith? And I hadn't realized up to that point that Michael Smith he's been nowhere to be found since they took him and Jemele Hill off the air. The Sports Center 6, the 6 was on the air for 6 months. Jemele Hill listen, like the typical black woman who gets a little bit of power, a little bit of notoriety. She wants to be a social justice warrior. And of course, Jemele Hill is going to be a social justice warrior. She's an older black woman who is increasingly unattractive, and she's not wife material. When women become older, when they miss that window, when they hit the wall, when they know that they are no longer wife material, when they know that they are no longer able to consolidate on a man with value. Listen, post-wall women, they get married all the time, but the men they get married to are very low value. They're beta males. They're pushovers. They're not real men. They're not the men that arouse these women. These aren't the men that these women respect and love. These are the beta males. These are the lower rung men. Well, women get depressed when they realize that those are really the only kind of men that they can get. Of course, it's causing me problems today. There we go. That's much better. Jemele Hill is way past that. She will never be in a relationship of consequence with a man of value. So what does she do? Like every other typical American westernized feminist woman do when they realize they're no longer wife material? They jump on the SJW train. They endorse homosexuality, non-gender binary, feminism, men must die, men are bad, cut off their penises, etc., etc. Let's boycott the NFL. Jemele Hill's dumbass decided to encourage her Twitter followers to boycott the sponsors of one Jerry Jones, right? To boycott the sponsors of Jerry Jones and other teams of the NFL. Here's the problem with that. Jemele Hill works for ESPN. ESPN has a contract with the NFL for Monday Night Football. If people really did now, not that Jemele Hill moves the needle, right? And ESPN, I'm going to get to this in a minute. ESPN has now figured out that Twitter is not really real. Okay, anyway. So Jemele Hill is literally taking money out of her own pocket. She says, boycott the sponsors of NFL teams who the company who pays you has a contract with. This just goes to show. See, dude, facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. And unfortunately for women like Jemele Hill, she didn't realize this. So her stupid ass wants to SJW on TV, right? Not only that, she also wants to tweet out, hey, boycott the sponsors. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Bitch, you are stupid. That was a stupid move. You're literally taking money out of your pocket. And she probably didn't realize it until it was too late. So Jimmy Pitaro called her into the office and he said, look, we're going to buy your ass out. You're not going to be on TV anymore. We're going to relegate your role to the undefeated, which is another SJW project by ESPN, which, by the way, was started by Jason Whitlock, who is not a social justice warrior. So there's a little bit of irony in that. But they have completely reduced her role. Jemele Hill hasn't been seen, dude. She hasn't been seen in I don't know how long. She's done. And now as of September the 1st, which was 3 weeks ago, she no longer works for ESPN. That shit got her in trouble. Michelle Beadle has been taken off of the show Get Up. It was Michelle Beadle, Jalen Rose, and Mike Greenberg. That was the host of that show. They have cut back ever since Michelle Beadle's tirade on Urban Meyer. I think she said, shut up, white men, and listen. She said this on national TV. Like it was out there for all the world to see. They took her ass right off the air. Jimmy Pitaro said, no, we're not having this. Took her ass right off the air. Not only that, he reduced Get Up from 3 hours to 2 hours. When you start reducing time, it's only a matter of time before that programming disappears. Bomani Jones is off the air. He now has a twice-a-week podcast. That's it. And listen, Bomani Jones, he is one of the most talented on-air personalities that there are. But Bomani Jones is also he's also a social justice warrior. The way he puts things, he would have us believe that everyone's like him. Like when Zeke Elliott came out and spoke in defense, endorsed Jerry, hey, I'm going to stand for the national anthem. Jerry Jones is my guy. I believe in America, blah, 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 blah. Bomani Jones characterized it, well, of course Dak Prescott is going to say that behind Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is who pays him. As if to say that Zeke Elliott is still a social justice warrior, just not acting like it. Come on, man. Come on with that. His ass is off the air. He's got a rink-a-dink two times a week podcast. I listen to it when I'm in the shower. And that show that he's got with the other SJW, Mamby-Pamby, Pablo Estore, oh my God, this guy is so condescending and pretentious, it makes me want to punch him in the face. That used to be an hour long. That's now a half an hour. Jimmy Pitaro has made it very clear to everyone that ESPN is not going to be a social justice network anymore. It was so plainly obvious. Gentlemen, I fucking called this. You can go to my website, donovansharpe.com. You can go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. I did an episode. I actually did a retro episode. It was back in, good God, May or April of 2017. ESP, I think it's entitled, and I actually just recently posted it within the last month or so. ESPN is finally paying the price for being a social justice warrior machine. ESPN laid off 100 employees, and they tried to give all these economic reasons. No, they laid off 100 employees because their ratings were dropping. Why were their ratings dropping? Because they were left-leaning, the liberal agenda, the feminist agenda, the social justice warrioring. And they tried to make it sound so stupid. Bomani Jones literally insulted us. Oh, people say, well, it's because we're left-leaning, but that's not really the reason. Dan Le Batard, another guy who's talented. I listen to him almost every day. Same thing. They want to piss on our leg and tell us that it's raining. No! People ain't swimming with ESPN anymore because they are alienating their #1 fan base. Anytime a man turns on ESPN, all he sees is men are bad. Domestic violence. Listen and believe. Hashtag shut up and listen. Hashtag no more. Hashtag me too. You're trying to listen. ESPN is a man's network. And when you alienate your base audience and tell them to shut up and like it, or when we say stick to sports, no, we're not going to stick to sports. Nah, fuck you. And fuck everybody. Fuck Jamel Hill. Fuck Michelle Beadle. Fuck Bomani Jones. Man, the chickens have come home to fucking roost, man. I called this shit a year and a half ago. And I said, listen, ESPN is going to be around long after I'm dead and gone. But if they're not careful, heads are going to fucking roll. Jamel Hill, Michelle Beadle, Bomani Jones. ESPN realizes that they're losing viewers and that they are doing something about it. And at the end of the day, Jimmy Pitaro finally decided, he finally figured out, holy shit. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. John Skipper, who was the former president of ESPN. He's the kind of guy who caters to Twitter. Jimmy Pitaro came in and said, wait a minute. All of these changes that we're making here at ESPN, being a left-leaning organization, everything that we're doing, we're catering to people on Twitter. Newsflash! Twitter isn't the real world. Twitter is outrage mongering. Twitter is a caricature. Twitter is a caricature. That's what it is. So when you make changes, when you cater your business to something that isn't really real, like Twitter, your ratings are going to drop. Sponsors are going to fall off. ESPN doesn't, listen, ESPN was in the running for Thursday Night Football. Guess what? Too rich for their blood. They got Monday Night Football. They couldn't get Thursday Night Football. Too rich for their blood. They don't have the cash. Manny Ireland, who is apparently new to the show. Yep, Hayek's Ghost and Manny Ireland. Listen, this is the way I start my show. If you guys listen, I talk a little bit off the topic at the beginning of my show. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. This is my show. I run it exactly the way I want to. I'll get to the 10 Commandments when I fucking want to. I'm not gonna have chat mongers coming in here telling me how to run my goddamn show. If you've listened to my show long enough, you know I riff about other things for about 20, 30 minutes, then I get to the good stuff. So you can take your ass on out of here and you can come back in another maybe 5 or 10 minutes, then I'll give you your 10 Commandments, or you can go to my website, donovansharpe.com. Don't tell me how to run my goddamn show. Shout out to Rob O, with the $100 donation. He actually sent it this morning. Rob O, listen, man, I greatly appreciate it. Listen, again, man, I always tell you guys, no donation is too great or too small. Listen, I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do and make a good living doing it. That being said, that doesn't mean that it's easy. I got a little bit behind today because I had so much going on, and listen, there's no excuse. Even though I like what I do, just because I can work from home, so to speak, doesn't mean that it's easy. And when guys like Rob O, give me sort of a shout out and support in the way of $100 donation, man, I really do appreciate that stuff. So shout out to Rob O with the $100 donation. Listen, Bob in Sacramento is definitely the show's biggest benefactor to date. He's probably donated well over $1,000 since about 2016. So shout out to Rob O with the $100 donation. I greatly appreciate that, my man. Thanks for your support, and I hope you keep watching. And if you would like to make a donation during the show, I don't take Super Chat, and part of the reason I don't take Super Chat is because I know that YouTube will never monetize my channel. I remember it used to be very easy to get monetized. All you had to do is you had to have a certain number of likes, you had to have a certain number of views. Well, I've met both of those metrics at this point, but now YouTube wants to review your videos before they monetize you. So they're never going to monetize a guy like me. And get this, here's the thing, man. I don't blame YouTube for doing this, right? Like, listen, if advertisers are telling YouTube, listen, we don't want to put our ads on material like Donovan Sharpe, and if more of him are on there, then we're not going to advertise. Listen, YouTube's got to do what they got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, dude, listen, I can disagree with their policies and their terms and conditions all I want to, but YouTube is a free and excellent service, man. Like, listen, let's call it, listen, I've had my battles with YouTube, right? I've had 12,000 subscribers deleted in a 2-week period. Yeah, that pissed me off, but listen, I've been on air. I've said, listen, I get it. I understand. You gotta do what's green. If we lived in a more conservative society, maybe YouTube gives me a little bit more leeway in the way of advertising dollars, ad revenue. But I'm not the kind of guy that they can put advertising with. And if their advertisers are going to say, listen, man, we're going to pull our advertisement if you keep endorsing stuff like this, hey, I got no problem. The fact that YouTube allows me to have a platform in the first place, it's a free platform. You're going to pay either way. This is a free platform. So, hey, you know what? I'm not going to bitch and moan about the fact that about the fact that I'll never, ever, ever be monetized. And the thing is if I want to be monetized, that would subject me to even more, a little more scrutiny. They'd probably take a closer look at my material, and we certainly can't have that. And by the way, anybody thinking about reporting me or whatever, as soon as these shows are done, I take it right off YouTube. So report away. That being said, if you would like to make a donation to the show, if you want to contribute to the show, go to the link I'm putting in below. It's streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe and the number 1. That's streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe and the number 1. You can use PayPal, any credit or debit card. Listen, 50 cents, $1, $2, $5, $100 like Robbo. Every little bit counts if you want to support the show. If you have a slut commandment that you think applies, give me a call, 914-205-5356. That's 914-205-5356. If you disagree with anything I say, you guys can call me too. Trolls, feminists, and black women, of course, are always welcome. If you try to tell me how to run my show, like, hey, Donovan, get to the point. Fuck you, go somewhere else. Unsubscribe from my channel, do whatever you gotta do. Fuck you. I can't stand when people come in and try to tell me how to run my show. Get the fuck out. Follow, add, and like me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just do a quick search for Donovan Sharpe on all 3 platforms to get access to all of my content in its entirety. Go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. There you will find the archive of all episodes of TSR Live, both audio and video, so you can listen on the go or watch at your leisure. You will also get access to the shows that I do with some of the most influential red pill guys out there. Rollo Tomasi, Minister Japs, Steve the Dean Williams, Jonathan from Modern Life Dating, Alan Roger Curry, and Illimitable Man have all made regular appearances on my show. Now, you can watch my show live on weekday mornings at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, but if you want to be able to rewatch and re-listen to the episodes in their entirety, $5 a month is all it takes. Remember, as soon as I'm done with this stream, I'm taking it right off the air. I don't want to be subjected to any of that scrutiny or reporting or anything like that. These are the measures that we have to take. If you like the content, subscribe to my channel and tell your friends, tell your coworkers, anybody you think needs a little red pill help. Tell them to tune in weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern to watch live because, like I said, as soon as this broadcast is over, I'm taking it down. I said it yesterday, man. You guys know guys like me are under constant surveillance and scrutiny. And because of this, we lose our channels. Listen, we lose our channels daily for obvious reasons. But because of this, we have to take measures to, make sure that we preserve our platforms. So subscribe to the channel, tune in at work, tune in wherever you are listening. If you're listening on SoundCloud, if you're listening to this replay on SoundCloud and you want to hear the 10 Slut Commandments, head on over to donovansharpe.com or patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe.